Oh boy, things are getting really bad for Kamala there.
I was like, Mommy, the thing about the olives with cream cheese on dark rye. I mean, in a nutshell.
Huh? What personality and charm that is absolutely missing, as it definitely does look like the campaign is in desperate straits, as they're bringing out all the latest celebrities out there that probably have a long list of extortion associated with them that is correlated with their Hollywood fame. Eminem came out, Lizzo came out, Usher came out, and still absolutely nothing is sticking to the walls, as of course just a few days away from November 5th, and Kamala Harris has taken the day off. She's not even campaigning today. As the top headlines today read that a jittery Kamala Harris campaign plans to clinch a narrow win. The New York Post has another one. Democrats quietly panic over Harris campaign strategy. Blue wall crumbles. They are not just thinking, as some have commented that the polls are spreading further than her legs, as it definitely doesn't look very promising for Kamala Harris. While Donald Trump definitely seems to be in a groove with his poll numbers rising up very dramatically. Now, I think what we are all seeing here is a kind of crisis in leadership, a crisis in authority, as even some of the biggest, most popular, most prominent names in Hollywood and the music industry cannot placate the general public enough to go along with the Kamala Harris campaign. And we see that time and time again. Now, I don't care how many private jets you charter for Lizzo that wants to make America like Detroit. Not really a catchy slogan. Not really a smart strategy there, in my opinion. And if people aren't resonating with your message, if people don't like who you are, if people do not want to vote for you, what's the next best thing to do? Try to undermine and attack your political opponent, which of course the corporate media is all doing in the same tune today. As of course the top story on Google News right now is John Kelly calling Donald Trump a quote fascist. Yes. We've heard that before from a lot of unhinged leftist, liberal, woke lunatics throughout the many years that Donald Trump has been in the political space. But now, hearing it from Trump's former chief of staff from 2017 to 2019 does highlight, man, they are getting absolutely incredibly desperate. Now, of course, there hasn't been a larger love affair between the corporate media and Donald Trump. Patrick Bet-David recently characterized Donald Trump as an assassin, specifically against the corporate media that he's taken out, as it definitely does look like they are becoming more and more unhinged, more and more dangerous, which is not smart in my opinion, as of course we face a very uncertain situation here in the United States. We face a larger mental health crisis, and the corporate media right now trying to make people in a frenzy, trying to emotionally manipulate them, trying to make them believe that German guy on meth and the funny mustache in the 1930s is going to be resurrected and coming back to life. That right there is not just playing with fire, but reckless, stupid, and dangerous. The rhetoric has already been heated up, and it's almost as if right now the corporate media is just trying to create more problems, more dramas with real life consequences that all of us are going to be paying for. And this is why I think it's important to directly call out the corporate media right now for their larger kind of sensationalistic, hyperbolic, emotionally manipulative language that has no basis in reality. Say what you may about Donald Trump, love him or hate him, his leadership wasn't as heavy-fisted and strong-armed like, of course, the Barack Obama administration. And I would argue also the Biden administration. As of course, Barack Obama literally waged an entire major civil conflict against journalists in this country, using the Espionage Act against them, going against whistleblowers, launching drone strikes, literally taking the lives of American citizens through his own signature that he personally certified and executed. The Biden administration and the weaponization of the DOJ and the strong arming of a lot of the political opponents in this country against the Democrats also highlighted very kind of aggressive maneuvers that can't be really compared to Donald Trump. that a lot of people say was even sitting on his own hands, specifically when it came to the Summer of Love, BLM riots that he took kind of a backstage approach to while major portions of this country burned down. As, of course, the intelligence agencies, the DOJ and the FBI, that, of course, routinely go after people for their political thoughts and expressions, weren't really on his beck and call, really weren't going after people politically under his administration like they are now. They were fighting internally, the intel agencies, with Donald Trump. The same intel agencies that, of course, have vast connections to the corporate media that are now running with these headlines, specifically comparing him to the leader in Germany during the 1930s. Again, hyperbolic comparisons that, you just thought they wouldn't go there. They are. This rhetoric was literally saved for some of the craziest people in our political discourse, and now it's becoming mainline conversations days away from an election that a lot of people are greatly invested in. Now, a lot of what they're doing is far more dangerous than even just what we're seeing on the surface level, and I'll explain that in just a little bit. But we have to understand that this is most likely in correlation with the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, leading by 20 points on major election predicted markets, as The Atlantic just published an article that accuses the former president of the United States of saying that he wanted generals just like that funny mustache guy had, the meth head. As they also accuse him of some racist rhetoric terms against a Mexican, all from an anonymous source. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Atlantic has an anonymous source that alleges Donald Trump said and did this. As the byline to this unsourced, unnamed allegation against Donald Trump reads, the Republican nominee preoccupation with dictators and his disdain for the American military is deepening. That guy literally hugs American flags. He literally talks about backing the blue all the time. He's literally talking about sending the troops home so they could be home with their family members. And the Atlantic is going to categorize him as someone who has disdain for the American military. No, that's not the truth here. That's an opinion. As, of course, now in combination with this, the former White House chief of staff came out and is adding to these comments, saying that he falls into the general definition of a fascist. And no. Again, ridiculous, hyperbolic statements, as, of course, a lot of administrations, specifically the Bush administration, the Obama administration, you could even argue in some ways, the Trump administration. Not as much, though, as all these other administrations absolutely are kind of fascistic in one way or another. But if we're looking at a larger scale here, I think Bush takes the cake here, then Obama, then Biden, and then, in my personal opinion and experience following politics for the last 20 years very closely, the least fascistic kind of leader would, of course, be Donald Trump, especially when it comes to the larger power grabs, especially when it comes to the larger kind of attacks against the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, liberties. There's a lot of despots. There's a lot of overreach. There's a lot of destruction. But comparing all the current leaders that we dealt with, I think it's absolutely unfair to just accuse Donald Trump of this. New York Times is running with this as well. Another very biased headline here. As election nears, Kelly warns Trump would rule like a dictator. I'm surprised they didn't frickin' use Halloween music associated with this article just to try to creep people out more. As, of course, we see what you're doing here. And this is going to lead to potentially people being hurt here. And this is why during such a tumultuous, crazy political cycle, it's important to tone down the rhetoric, and the corporate media is doing the exact opposite of that, which of course will create a dangerous situation for the average American out there. As a lot of people have been radicalized by the corporate media and their nonsensical emotional dribble, and it's almost as if they are trying to make the average American go to the brink of destructive, violent activities. If you look at a lot of people on the left, they deal with a severe mental health crisis. And now you add that to the factor of what is going to be happening psychologically if Donald Trump wins. This is going to be absolutely devastating for a lot of people on the left and their mental health, which will, of course, dramatically decline afterwards. This will have severe ramifications, not just on our economy, but our society as well, as it's fair to say that a lot of people will now believe in their own heads in this convoluted, made-up reality by the corporate media that somehow we are going to be ruled by that meth head and funny mustache guy. They're going to legitimately think that we're in the 1930s and there's going to be camp set up and there's going to be a night of broken glass. They think the Reichstag is going to get attacked again. Literally, this type of thinking highlights the insanity from a lot of people, that insanity that's being deliberately spread by the corporate media, that's being pushed by a lot of social media algorithms out there, since they are deemed the authoritative sources out there, when in reality, what they're cooking up here, what they're brewing up here is not safe for America, its people, and these people are far more dangerous than we could even understand them to be. As of course, we have more deranged articles surrounding not just Donald Trump, but anyone around him who even dares to give him a platform or hear him out. As of course, we have the latest corporate media article that is titled, "Trump Cancels All His Events in Favor of One of the Worst People Ever." Who's one of the worst people ever, according to Ellie Quilini Hungtengling? It is, of course, Joe Rogan, one of the most popular podcasters on the face of this earth that the majority of the general public really likes to listen to. His viewership is absolutely massive. He is personable, and he's able to engage in long-form types of conversation that a lot of people see as very genuine. It resonates with a lot of people. It's very personable, but for some people in the corporate media, it is absolutely something that they can't handle at all and have to viciously attack, as it predominantly highlights their critical thinking capacities as they are overwhelmed with emotions that prevent them from logically thinking. And we like to promote logical thinking as much as we can, and that's why we have LukeUnfiltered.com, our own members area. It's a secret, not so secret society where, of course, when you sign up, you get exclusive behind-the-scenes videos just for you as a member, 3 masterclasses, seed oil cards, and of course, crap lists of things that you should be avoiding at the supermarket. You also get the ability to call into our live show. We have a live show later on today, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Mike Benz, who's going to be here in studio with us, breaking down all the latest and craziest news, specifically when it's related to, of course, the deep state and the intelligentsia. So that conversation, which you could be a part of, starts 6 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel. And of course, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. You get access to a Telegram channel, and you get access to, of course, be a part of the show. You could call into the show, and you could, of course, start the conversation with all of us just by simply signing up right now, as we love to have our viewers a part of our broadcast. We really appreciate you guys being a part of the conversation. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. You signing up now is more crucial than ever. Sign up right now. Click the link down in the description below. Signing up is quick, it's easy, it's very efficient. Literally, just click here, whatever your budget is, $8, $15, $99 a month, and you just put in a little bit of your information. You get emailed back a login, and then, of course, you get access to, I think, 12 years of videos that no one else has seen other than members of LukeUnfiltered.com. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.